we have yet another awesome broadcast, guys. We are with Will from the Weekend Homestead, and he's an absolute techno rock star. I think he probably has circuits, as well as veins running through. And so, Will, we're going to chat it up, dude. Are you ready to get your tech on, brother?
I am. It was great last week. I was pretty excited. Looking forward to this week. We've been going back and forth on text and talking about ideas and getting some stuff from folks. So, let's dive into it.
Do it, man. Why don't you go ahead and give the folks an outline of where we might end up today while I call up the chat here so I can see what we're doing.
So we've fielded some questions over the last week regarding TubeBuddy and talking about, does it do anything for you? Interestingly enough, Brad doesn't use TubeBuddy. I actually have the paid version, and then there's some other folks out there who have the free version. So we're going to talk about what all that stuff does. We got a couple questions on the last show that we did about Facebook and how to get social media to kind of play together. So maybe we'll talk about Instagram, some Facebook stuff.
Yep.
I've got one, somebody asked a question about resurrecting old videos that have been around. So if you've had a video that's been out on your channel for a long time and it's kind of fallen into the YouTube ether of nothing, how do you re-kickstart that video back up to the top? So those are the ones that I have on my list. What do you have, Brad?
Absolutely, all of those and more. We're going to do question and answer, and I'm thinking that we should actually seed the chat with some false information for other channels that watch, and so that they'll think that we're actually telling them real information and they can spread it badly. What do you think about that? No?
Well, there's a button, actually, if you go into Video Manager on your program page and it says Delete Channel, that's actually a good one if you want to start over again. Start from the beginning, just go to that page. It'll ask you twice, are you sure? And then it'll ask you, are you really sure? Press that button and you'll be good to go.
All right, so please don't do that. That was a joke. That was a joke. So, all right, well, let's start out in an area that, in all honesty, I am woefully inadequate, and that is Facebook. Tell me, okay, give me, why do I need to be in Facebook? I'm in YouTube. We're not a massive channel, but we're not small either. How's that going to benefit me, and what do I need to be doing?
So I always tell people a couple things. One is you need to go to where your customers are, not necessarily expect your customers to come to you. So people breed content differently. So give you an example, some of my friends only do Facebook stuff and they only see videos. They only do Pinterest or they only do Instagram or whatever. If you're not on those platforms, those people will never find you. So if you only are into one platform, let's say YouTube, and you don't ever move to the other ones, you're never reaching out to the people who don't cross over from each other. So that would be one of the reasons why you'd want to be on a different social network. Now, granted, making the connection between your YouTube channel and your Facebook business, that's a little bit tricky, and I think we should probably dive into that a little bit more. But that's kind of the basics. Is you need to go to where people are who are looking for your type of content, and if they're on Facebook and you're producing YouTube, you're just going to keep missing each other all the time.
I hear that. Now you said your Facebook business. Now, I started out only on YouTube just because it was familiar. I come on and I watch videos and I'm like, yeah, I can do something and I can add to the dialogue. I can give something that people will actually want to watch. And I'm goofy enough that for whatever reason, I guess maybe it's my rugged, handsome exterior, right, that people will watch it. Right. But the thing that has always been a big pushback is, okay, it's a lot of work to do a YouTube channel. Now I'm being told, okay, I got to do a Facebook channel, but the problem is you don't actually make any money there. Is it just a matter of getting people connected, or is there a way that you can actually build part of your business?
So there's a couple pieces to it. One is, you're right, Facebook you don't really make any money on. To get into Facebook, monetization, things like that, that's a whole nother realm, and it doesn't work the same as YouTube. In YouTube world, you can produce a video, you get to a certain point with a number of subscribers and number of views, you reach a certain amount of money, YouTube sends you the money. Facebook doesn't really do that. Facebook is really a forward pushing, outgoing service versus this where YouTube, where you're bringing people in. So for Facebook, the biggest thing to look at is it's a way to advertise and market to people that you normally wouldn't be reaching. And the other thing is you're expanding your ecosystem in a way that customers can ingest your content. I'll give you an example. you might make a 10-minute video for YouTube, and a customer will sit down, or one of your folks that are watching your videos will sit down and watch it. But on Facebook, have you ever been flipping through your timeline on Facebook and they have those cooking hands videos where they like get some recipe, put it together, throw it all together and whatever, and like in like a minute and a half, all of a sudden, boom, you go from a pile of whatever to a cake.
Yeah.
You know? So think about that when you're looking at your YouTube videos, is can you take some of your things that you're doing in YouTube and shrink it down? So let's say you do something about how to make artisan bread and it's a 10-minute video. Figure out a way to make a mini version of that same thing out of your footage and put it on Facebook, because people ingest content in short bits on Facebook versus YouTube where they ingest it in long versions. So, you know, you have to think about the attention span of people as they're feeding through their thing. You know, here's a picture of my granddaughter's kids, and here's a picture of somebody's dog and what the sandwich they're eating, and, you know, some ad for something or whatever it is. You have to compete with their friends and family. So you have to make it interesting. You have to make it quick and to the point to get their attention, to hopefully sell them on the idea of what you're trying to do.
Well, now also too, correct me if I'm wrong, but when they click on that, or they watch that rather video in Facebook, or they unmute it, however it is that that happens, you're still getting the view on YouTube, correct?
Well, it depends. So I'm actually going to get into a little bit of a different piece on that, on how to get the social medias to play together, because unfortunately, Facebook and YouTube do not play well together. They don't at all.
I'd imagine they don't want anybody leaving their channel and watching stuff. So I'm ready to take notes, brother. Tell me how to make them play nice.
Okay, so here's how I suggest doing it. Produce your video for YouTube and have it all uploaded, have your link, have all your stuff there. Then on Facebook, either on your personal Facebook page, or if you start a page for your channel, or if you start a group for your channel, post the video, actually upload the little mini video into YouTube or into Facebook. The reason why is, if you put a link to YouTube into a Facebook ad and post it, there's no real documentation of this, but everybody kind of knows that it happens, that Facebook puts a little weight on that ad and kind of drags it down, because anytime you post something on Facebook that takes you away from Facebook, Facebook doesn't want that. They'll still let it be there, but it'll be on the bottom of the pile below 800 other things. So what you do if you want to get around that is upload the little clip of the video. So take your 10 minutes, cut it down to a minute, which is a small video file, and just upload it to your Facebook page. Facebook takes video just like YouTube does. Then when people come or scrolling through there, they hit the unmute button. Yep, you don't get a view on YouTube, but you get your content seen. That's the most important part about Facebook, and even Instagram for that matter, is the reason why you're on there is for people to see you and discover you. And then if you do a good job in that minute, you're going to convert them to go at the end of the video, your 1 minute video, go, hey, by the way, if you like this little 1 minute video on YouTube, I have a full 10-minute version of the same thing. Why don't you guys come on over to my channel and check it out?
I'm with you, and I can definitely see that there's benefit there. But now I've got to push back just a little bit, because I want to see what your thoughts are in this. It takes a lot of time. I got to go back. It takes a lot of time to make these videos, especially cooking videos. They take the longest ever. And is there any kind of, you know, percentage that you're going to go, okay, I'm going to do this extra work that's going to go on Facebook. Let's say that the regular edit took me, you know, 4 hours. Well, the smaller edit's probably only going to take a half hour. True. But then I got to post it. Is it really worth it? I mean, are you getting the views? Are you getting the crossover that you're looking for that's actually worth your time?
So I did a test over the last 30 days 4 different times and tried 4 different postings in 4 different areas on Facebook to see if this theory works. 2 of the times it didn't produce anything. It kind of petered out. I think I was just in the wrong group at the wrong time. I was dancing around in my chicken costume, and I should have been, you know, in formal attire or whatever it was. So every time I do this, I try to make you laugh, and that's the tricky part, because I get to see Brad off camera while I'm doing this. So, so the 2 times didn't work very well. Then one of the times that I did it, I saw.
See, now that I know that he's looking, I'm going to be doing that. So
you got me. No, so then the second time, or the third time I did it, it produced fairly well. The 4th time, 300% growth. So if you go on my Social Blade right now and look at my chart, it'll be going along like this for my subs, and all of a sudden, boom, I got, I think, 700 subs in the last 30 days, and I only have a small channel of 2,500 people. And what it was is the video and the content that I posted on Facebook hit the right people at the right time. They were interested in the content, and I left it as a, I don't want to say a teaser or clickbait, but I said, hey, here's a sampling. You know, think of the grocery store. You walk down the aisle, and the lady's there, and she gives you a little piece of cheese, and you try the little piece of cheese. You're like, oh, this is really good. And what does she say at the end of it? Would you like to buy some cheese? And what do? You put it in your cart and take it home with you because it was good. I did the same thing with the video. As I took a little bit of content, put it out there. Yep, there was some effort to go into it, but to see that type of growth on it. And that's not a viral video. I mean, by any means. I've had probably 5,500 people watch, comment, and interact with it. But out of that, I got 700 people to come over, and it only took me about 10 minutes to cut the video out of my regular video that I produced.
That's really, really awesome. And I got to say that the question I had was, were all of those videos that you posted to Facebook, or did you seed any with YouTube just to see if the views were still happening?
So there's a trick that I'm testing out right now, and I don't have the final answer on this one. But what I'll do is I'll post the video to Facebook, and then when it starts to get views and likes and starts to climb out of the bottom of the pile and kind of start moving through, I'll go back and I'll edit the text and I'll put in the link to my YouTube channel in there. And at that point in time, it's already rising out of the system. So it's already getting momentum and people are already sharing and things like that. And at that point, I put it in there. Well, Facebook's not going to stop that because they want people to view the content and see whatever it is. And they're not going to stop the little link that I dropped in there.
Wow. Just a quick pause here while we kind of rehash what's happened so far. For those of you guys who don't know, we do a tech talk on Thursday nights, and we're here with the Weekend Homestead. Will is a genius when it comes to this kind of stuff. He's worked with a lot of big channels, everybody from Wrangler Star on down to Boss of the Swamp. And he's sharing his knowledge, and I'm sharing my nerd knowledge and my nerd cred, if you will, even if you won't. And we're just sharing how we do what we do. So that said too, I've noticed a few folks here that I have to acknowledge. Jokev 1, yes, and thank you. I'm so grateful for my birthday present, and I will also add in that Lone Star Living, dude, rock and roll. That was classy. You get the double goat horns, because it's too much rock for one hand, my friend. Thank you very much. We're talking building social media, working the Facebook, working the YouTube, because here's the thing, guys. I want to make sure that you guys understand something very important, that I believe that each and every person has a message. Everybody has a voice. The internet is a very big place. And just because there's a Wrangler Star before me doesn't mean I'm not going to be able to add to the conversation. And it doesn't mean that Rain Country is not going to be able to add to cool recipes and how to eat healthy. No, she's got her voice. Homestead Tessie, she's got her voice, and we all have something to add to the conversation. And what we're doing with this portion of the live streams is trying to get you guys from point A to point B. And we're not being selfish. We're sharing with you the honest truth, the tips and stuff that we found out from YouTube and from different places and different things that Will has done. And that's why we're hoping to do this, so that it's not, oh my gosh, you'll watch this video and you'll either like us or not. Although you should go over to Will's channel and subscribe right now. And that's the Weekend Homestead. But it's because we feel like this information's got to be shared, guys. And so with that said, let's talk a little bit more about social media. And by the way, if you have questions, I'll try and catch them. I've got a separate chat window open, but we're going to go ahead and roll with it unless we see a question that's kind of like fits in there. So let's talk now. Let's just shift gears back to the social media. And which ones of the social media do you think that you're spending your time on is worth it?
Good question. Everybody asks that question, and I'm gonna try to answer it specifically, but it's different for each person. I'll give you an example. There's an outdoor channel that I work with where the guy does hunting and camping and outdoor things. And one of the things that he does is he spends a lot of his time in these really remote, beautiful places. Well, Instagram actually is a great social media site for that, because what you can do is everybody goes there to post their beautiful pictures of things. So ultimately, that channel works really well there. I have another friend who does home blogging, homeschooling. She's a female, raising her family, doing that kind of stuff. Well, actually, she sees her most success on Pinterest. And the biggest reason why is because you got to look at where people are going to consume the content. For people who are nature lovers and going out in the wilderness and hiking and camping and taking photography and doing all those types of things, Instagram is the place to be, because that's where people go to consume that content. For recipes, cooking, those types of things, Pinterest is more of a place, you know, and you have to look at the demographic of the people. Instagram is young people. Pinterest is more females. Facebook, actually, surprisingly enough, the age group on that is older. You would think that it's younger, but the young kids, and I hate to say it this way, but the young kids are moving to Snapchat, to Instagram, to WhatsApp, those types of things. And my parents are still on Facebook and so on. So you have to kind of think about who you want to talk to, and you go where it is. You know, if you want to pick up one type of person, you go to the bar. If you want to talk with another type of person, you go to church. You know, there's different people that congregate in different areas because that's just how it is. Well, social media is the exact same thing. Now,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say one last thing is, you don't have to be exclusive to one single thing. As example, Instagram makes it really easy for you. If you have a Facebook page or a Facebook group, you can link your Instagram account to it. So if you upload a photo to your Instagram account, it automatically puts it on your Facebook account, so it saves you the work. So some of the social medias play really nice with each other that way, where I have an Instagram account, and yeah, I have about 2,000 people who follow me on there, but we take pictures, post them on there, and they automatically transfer back to Facebook, so it saves me a ton of work. Because I know you're talking about saving time on work.
Yep.
That's one thing, is you can be on multiple social medias as long as they play nice together.
One question that I think Homestead Tessie and Rain Country may have come in a little bit late. We did talk about the revenue on YouTube and how it works with Facebook. And to answer your question, yes, if you basically only put revenue on YouTube, then putting stuff on Facebook is not going to get you any money. They don't have a monetization program like YouTube does. But to sum up, I would say that Will is saying it's a really good idea to go ahead and post stuff on Facebook anyway, like maybe a truncated, shortened down version, because the attention spans are much shorter on Facebook, because ultimately it's going to drive traffic over to YouTube. So YouTube is the money machine for that. However, Facebook will also drive people to want that content. Is that a fair assessment? A quick recap there, Will?
Yes, and I'll actually add one more piece on there that we didn't talk about, which is, let's pretend for a second your channel gets big and it grows large, and all of a sudden you have people who want you to test their products or try out their whatever, or so on and so forth. For you, it might be, you might be getting, let's say, $200 or $500 to do a single video about a product or whatever it is, but they want to see a certain number of views. And if they see those views, they'll come back to you again to do it again. So you might make a YouTube video and have that YouTube video out there, and then take that same content, cut it down to a Facebook one and put it out there, and then produce, let's say, 5,000 views on the Facebook one and 5,000 views on the YouTube one. You can go back to your company that's doing the sponsorship or doing the paid sponsor or whatever, and say, hey, I have 10,000 views on it, 5,000 from here and 5,000 from here. So sometimes the money is associated with the action of getting views, not necessarily just the AdSense. People need to get out of the idea that AdSense pays, because if you look at revenue today, the number of views that you produce today versus what you would have produced a year ago is 50%. So if you get 100 views today and you got 100 views last year, you get half the amount of money for the same amount of work today.
Wow. Well, talking about work, guys, let me just take this down a few notches, because I'm noticing and know a lot of the names that are rolling through the chat, and I know a lot of you guys' videos because I've seen them and been a part of, you know, just we're in the same community. And so for me, I got to come back to time management, because you know, I know you do work with Wrangler Star, and you've mentioned that he actually gets around 600 emails every day. I can't imagine what that kind of workload would be, and they've probably got to skim through, because right now I honestly answer probably in the realm of about 100 emails, and the comments, I read them all, but you don't have enough time to actually answer them all and still do what it is that they're wanting you to be in that channel. Like if I spent my time completely doing the channel, you know, the business side of the channel, for lack of a better term, like all the emailing and responding to this and answering that and making videos, I'd never have any time to be in the garden. I'd never have any time to be doing my bees. I'd never have time to be with the goats, which is the reason why people are there in the first place. So with that said, let's talk about TubeBuddy. And for those who don't know what TubeBuddy is, I'm going to let you go ahead and roll with that and tell them, because I think we might have similar opinions on part of it and maybe different opinions on some of it, but I don't know. So TubeBuddy, roll with it.
TubeBuddy, very simply, it's a program that you can sign up for. They have a couple different versions of it. They have a free version, they have a paid version, and they have like an enterprise version. Nobody needs the enterprise version. What it is it's basically multiple users. Let's say you had 50 people in an office and they're all going to be using this technology. I don't know anybody who does that.
Well, pause and take it even down. What is TubeBuddy?
TubeBuddy is a program that allows you to manipulate and change things on your channel, either automatically or through different, a good example, let's say you wanted to add tags to all your videos. TubeBuddy is a program that allows you to automate a lot of the things that you'd normally do manually on your own. So instead of going through each of your videos and adding an end card to every single one of them, you could punch in what you wanted it to do and it would add it to 200 videos. So like Brad was telling me, he's got 1,000 videos out there. Well, let's say you had an Amazon link that was in all of those videos and the Amazon link was broken. It stopped working, and so you're not getting affiliate credit anymore. You need to fix it. Well, are you going to be able to sit down and physically go in there and change 1,000 links, you know, in 1,000 different videos? No. So what TubeBuddy prides itself on is automating the process to do mundane things. So you could highlight out the bad text. You could put in what the good text is and tell TubeBuddy, go to it. And TubeBuddy, as a third-party company, has a relationship with YouTube where they can get in through the back door and hook up to all the magic inside of YouTube and basically automatically do all the things that you need done. So if you want to add tags, if you want to change cards, if you want to look up information about what's trending on YouTube, what time people are watching videos, all sorts of really cool things that could help your channel. It allows you to see into a part of YouTube that's a little bit difficult to get to through your analytics.
Okay, now, because this interests me, and I'll tell you why, I learned a great trick that we're going to talk about later on how to reinvigorate your old videos, and it involves changing, well, I will get to that in a little bit, but let's just say this, that the idea that TubeBuddy can automate that is really, really exciting to me because of the sheer number of videos I have. And the problem I have, guys, is that in all honesty, Scout's Honor, and I'm not trying to, you know, feel like vain or look at me in any way, but a lot of the old videos that we've done have really, really great content, but when the channel was small, nobody watched them. I got tons of videos that have less than 1,000 views, 500 views, that the content is jamming. But now, can I target certain videos and say I want these 50 videos to be changed with the tags, or can I do it in chunks, or does it have to be broad brush strokes?
Nope, you can do that. So imagine your channel as a big stack of papers, right? And every time you write on a piece of paper, that's making a video. Well, for Brad, he's got 1,000 of them all stacked up with each other, all on top of each other. And if he wanted to go through them, he'd have to rummage through the pile and pick which ones he wanted and so on and take care of them. TubeBuddy, think of it as an assistant that you could say, hey, go find these 50 videos, or go find these 5 videos, or go find this text, or go find whatever it is, and it'll rummage through the whole pile, and it'll bring them up to the top. It'll allow you to do whatever you need to do to them, and then put them right back into the pile again. So for a person like you with a large catalog, TubeBuddy has some options that allow you to really control your content in a grand scale. For smaller channels, let's rewind for a second and not talk about 1,000 videos. Let's talk about the guy who's only got 15 videos, or why would you want TubeBuddy to do anything? Some of the features for small channels, it's actually really helpful. You can put a piece on there where it'll do an analytic, where it'll show you on a graph how you're doing on subs over the last 30 days. How many views have you had in the last 30 days? You can look at you versus another channel and see how they compare to each other, and it automatically does that. And if you have Chrome, the internet browser Chrome, it actually plugs right into it, so it's all automated. So as you're flipping through channels and looking at things, I could be looking at Boss of the Swamps channel, then I could be looking at Garden Fork, then I could be looking at Off Grid Nation, and then I could be looking at Living Like Clara, whatever the channels are, and hop through them, and all of them automatically fill in the information where I can see what tags are they using, how is their video trending. You can see if they've been shared on social media, all sorts of kind of background stuff to get an idea of what other people are doing in the marketplace, because all that data is there. It's just hidden behind YouTube. So what TubeBuddy does is peels that cover off and allows you to look inside and see what's going on. So even as a small creator, it's a helpful thing to have.
Well, we're gonna come back to TubeBuddy, but I want to answer a couple questions that have come up. And one is from Kirkland Farm. It's kind of going back just a smidge, but I want to answer these. He's asking, how do I decide what to respond to? He's talking about, you know, how you got a time management. And to be honest, right now, I respond to every private message I get, period. And I read through every comment that is made. And if it's not asking me a question, then I'll just, you know, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever seems right. And if somebody's asking me a question that is, and I don't mean to be rude, but stupid, because it was in the video and it answered, you know, somebody's like asking, what about this? And it was in the video and it was a major part of the video. I usually will just skim over those because I'm like, okay, I can't help you. You didn't watch the video. But if somebody's asking me a real live question, I answer them all. I try to be as quick as I can, but give truth. I can't imagine what it must be like for a Wrangler star. Even, you know, in all the time I've been watching YouTube, I have tried to contact him and gotten a response twice, but that was 2 years ago. And now I can, you know, Will knows. He's just like, come on in, Wrangler stars. Yeah, we'll make dinner for you. But it's not like that. I'm teasing a little bit, but that's how I deal with it. And oh shoot, what was the other question I wanted?
Let me ask you a question quick. Can you look up while I kind of talk to this topic? Can you look up and see how many subs Kirkland Farms has? I'm just curious to see the size. It might change the answer based on that.
Okay, so, go ahead and talk. I'm going to look them up.
Yep. Let me go at a different angle at this. If you're a large channel, the amount of information that's going to be coming flying at you is crazy. But on the flip side of it, if you're a small channel like I am, I've got 2,500 subs and just getting going on YouTube. I actually spend more time working on other people's channels.
Kirkland Farms currently has 3 subs.
3. Okay.
So they're new.
So,
they're new.
Let's say again?
I said, so they're new.
Okay. So I'll give that answer too. So when you're a large channel and you got a lot of stuff coming at you, you're right, Brad, you triage the stuff as it comes in and you make decisions on what you think is important you're going to answer, what you don't. Some people don't answer comments anymore at all. Some people answer just personal messages or emails or whatever it is. For myself, at 2,500 subs, you know, I'll get 40 or 50 responses to a video, or I'll get, you know, 10 or 15 personal messages, things like that. For me, it's important to answer those emails and answer those questions and things like that. And the reason why is YouTube looks at the comments that are going onto your video as a way to track whether or not your videos are successful. So the comments that you're leaving on those videos also count as comments. Mm-hmm. So if you get 20 comments and you respond to 20 comments, now you have 40. Well, as a small channel and you're trying to climb up out of all the different channels that are trying to get out there and do things, by you responding to your clientele and the people who are watching your videos, one, you're going to keep them watching more and more because you're giving them personal attention, which is important. But the second thing is you're adding more thumbs up and commentary and discussion and dialogue in your chats, which YouTube wants, because then if you answer somebody's question and then they come back and read it, guess what you just did? You invited them to come back to YouTube. And that's what YouTube wants, is that customer comes onto your channel, they watch your video, they leave a comment. Maybe they leave and go wherever it is. You answer that comment, they get a notification on their phone, guess what? They go back to YouTube. You just did what YouTube wants you to do, which is get people back to YouTube to do more things. Now they read your comment, maybe they watch your next video or something like that. So for small channels, I think commentary and going back and doing your comments and making relationships with your friends and the people on YouTube is really important. For big channels, it's triage. Figure out what works best for you and, you know, go with that.
Well, yeah, and we're not a big channel. I mean, when it comes to looking at the numbers, I mean, when you talk about big channels like Roman Atwood or Casey Neistat, I'm sure that they have teams of people that's all they do is this. They sit down and work on that, because being in a band, it's no different. Everybody looks at the band and is like, wow, you guys are really great. But there's just sheer too much work for any group of small group of people to do. And they gotta, I'm sure they're farming that out. But here we have another question from Farm Alarm. And I want to touch on this because it actually goes back to why I always pushed back against TubeBuddy. But it sounds like I really need to reconsider that for my channel. But Farm Alarm's asking, any worry of having a third party like that having access to your account? Okay. I don't think that it would, I'm gonna let Will talk on the security of that. But what I want to talk about is that's the reason why I never signed on to TubeBuddy, because when they make you sign on, they're like, I want access to your email list. I'm like, heck no, you don't. That I want access to this. I want access to that in your computer. I'm like, and that makes me flip out. I know a lot of the social media do that so that they can integrate all of those things together. But man, I'll tell you what, call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want to call me, but that's a little bit much control that I don't like giving up.
So you want to hear my answer on that?
I'm sure you're going to tell me I'm wrong, but bring it, brother.
I'll say it actually a different way. I'm not even going to say you're wrong, because you're very right in the idea of it, but you have to remember what playground you're playing in. Like if TubeBuddy wanted to connect into the Homestead Network's website and you had a mailing list on that website that you owned and curated and things like that, I could completely see wanting to protect that. But in the world of social media, by the terms and conditions that you're agreeing to YouTube, Facebook, and everything else to play in their backyard, guess what? All that stuff is out there anyways, so allowing the third party to get to it, they're going to be able to get to it anyways because they have access to all the algorithms to do the stuff that they need to do. So if they can get that, how hard is it for them to get the stuff that's already public in the system that you're playing in? So really, you don't own the content, the subscribers, or the people that are on your channel. YouTube does. They're their customers. You're just entertaining them while you're there. So ultimately, in that scenario—
Wait. Time out. I'm under the impression that my content is my content and they're getting a piece of it, just like a publisher would in a music recording situation. Is that not the case?
When you upload something to social media in any way, shape, or form, you're foregoing the ability and control on that. And basically, they own the content at that point in time on a majority of the social media networks.
I have a question.
So think of all those Snapchat photos that are getting uploaded. They're all archived on somewhere out there, and they could be used in advertising in another country. They could do all sorts of different things. Now, there is an exception, and there is a very important exception, which is copyrighted material. So let's say you're an artist and you have copyrighted music that you have, or you have a book that you've produced or something like that, that's a copyrighted content piece. That's the exception.
But hold on, no. When I create a video, I am putting my content out there. I am using either music that I have legal right to use, or it's mine, or there's no music at all. My understanding is when I make that video, it is mine. It is copywritten. Is that not how they look at it?
Right, but you're sharing it on a social media that necessarily, do you have the ability— a copyright is only as good as the enforcement of it. So ultimately, if you produce a video and put it out on YouTube, I make a copy of it and upload it somewhere else, and you don't catch me doing it, I'm going to make revenue off of that video until it gets taken down or goes away. It happens all the time. Like there was a channel that I was working with, the gentleman's name was Scrambled O, and he was making camping and backpacking videos. Does really well. He's got 40,000 subscribers. It's out there. We found out that there's a guy in India who was taking and downloading the same videos that he had and was re-uploading them and had probably 10 or 11,000 subscribers, and he never made a lick of video. He was just taking the videos one off and uploading them on another system and getting the ad revenue from it.
Well, no, I can totally understand that people will do that, but that's stealing. They're stealing my copywritten, content. And what, for example, if I write a song, because I've been on record labels, I've had deals and all that, blah, 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 songs on the radio. And when it's my understanding that whenever you affix your work to something that is tangible, whether it's a recording or whether it's on paper, and you say, this is mine, that is a copyright. I mean, yes, there's a lot of stuff you've got to do if you really want to make it protected with the Library of Congress and all that kind of stuff. But when I say it is affixed, it's mine. And those people, while they're stealing it, it still doesn't make it, I mean, it's not, I want to make sure that I'm understanding this, because it's not like YouTube is going, well, we don't care, because they're trying to stop it, right? They're gonna go, yeah, that's your content. And it's my understanding that when it's on YouTube, they're acting kind of like the publisher, because they get a cut of every bit of ad revenue that I make, right?
I agree with you. Not all social medias are that way, though. Like I know for sure Snapchat, if you upload something to Snapchat, it's theirs. If you upload something to Instagram, I'm pretty confident it's theirs at that point in time. Now, there's a bunch of different pieces that people come into question on that, which is, okay, I upload a picture of my kids on there. Can they use my kids and use my kids to market products and things like that without my permission? There's a lot of gray space in there. Quite honestly, this is a rabbit hole that we could go down for hours on end. And what I'd suggest is this. I'll do some research. Next week, we'll brush on this topic, because I think there's a piece to it, which is, you're right. Some of the things that you affix a copyright to, but my commentary to that is your copyright is only as good as the enforcement of that copyright. Same thing with patents. You can get a patent on something, but if you can't defend a patent in the legal sense, or if you go to court and you don't have the ability to defend that patent, you will lose. And that's a concern, because nobody will defend a patent, nobody will defend a copyright except for the person who owns the copyright or who owns the patent.
Good points, man. I think we do need to press this out a little bit more, but I'm getting a little bit weary of it right now, because I'm kind of feeling like there's people out there taking my hard work and nobody's really enforcing the law. And so I'm feeling weary. I got to move on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the short of it is, TubeBuddy, if YouTube feels it's okay for TubeBuddy to get into the backside of YouTube and gather all the short of it is, before we went off on this huge offshoot of copyright and patents and all that stuff, the short of it is if YouTube is allowing access to TubeBuddy to get the information that they're getting through the system, it would be safe to assume that they could gather the information whether they used your information or got it themselves. Because in order for them to do what they do, they have to have access to what you're doing on your channel, and YouTube wouldn't give it to them if they were doing something malicious with it.
Okay, well, I gotta pause, man. Let's go to something else that will actually make me calm down a little bit. Good mojo. I need good vibes here. And that is this. I want to talk a little bit about videos, how to reinvigorate videos and get new views, getting Google to reconnect with old videos. And now the trick that I've learned, guys, so they've said, when you get to a certain point in YouTube subscribers, YouTube will actually reach out to you and they'll assign you a consultant, and you get to talk to them. And I've had that blessing many times, and I have always shared my information with you, so don't think I'm being stingy. And this is one of those things that I want to share with you. If you've got a video that's been out there for a while, 6 months to a year, and you thought it was a really good video, but it's just really dragging, you get a view every few days, or it's just really stagnated, or maybe it just stopped. They've said that there's a few things you can do that will make Google's algorithm reanalyze your video, which at that point, Sorry, you can't see Will, but I can. And so he's being silly. He's trying to get me to laugh, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stay on target. Stay on target.
Sorry.
Loosen up. Stay on target. All right, Star Wars ref. They've said there's 3 things, and I want to see if you think that this is a good strategy, because I have only tried it out a couple times, but it appears to be working. And they say don't do it with videos that are still kind of moving on there, because Google will get confused. The algorithm will get confused. But they say there's 3 things you got to do. Change up the title. You actually change the wording of the title. Don't just flip words around. Make sure that there's an actual change in a couple of the words. Next thing is change the description. Go in there and actually change the description of the video. And the last thing is make sure that you change at least 3 of the tags. And then they say that will trigger Google to reanalyze it, which means it'll put it in a new pecking order that it wasn't in before. And you may get views. It's not a guarantee, but it's going to reanalyze it instead of letting it sit back in its dead state. What do you think about that?
All right. So see, now you're going to try to make me laugh while I'm trying to do this. I agree 100% with you. Now, a couple things to think about. And one item that I would add to the list that I think you need to do also, which is within the last year, cards and end cards have become kind of a component on YouTube. And it's something that YouTube has been doing, and it's a functionality. Well, if you uploaded a video 2 years ago, it doesn't have that. And think about this for a second. Think of how much time it takes you to produce a video, shoot it, edit it, put it all together, and so on. It's probably easier actually to go back and update your older videos than it actually is to produce new content. So
100%. That's why I'm hoping that this is good stuff.
Yeah, take stuff like what I tell people, and when I work with people, like I was talking to Scrambled O, and I talked to JC, the boss of the swamp, about this and things like that. Take the bottom 10% of your videos every quarter, look at them and go, okay, these aren't working. Let's change the title. Let's change the cover. Let's change the tag. And by the way, while I'm in there, YouTube has turned on some new features since I actually edited that video 2 years ago. So let's add an end card to it. Let's add some pieces, because like annotations came out of all the videos. Well, if the video is 2 years old and you have annotations saying go to my website, all that stuff is gone now. So ultimately, with that being gone, now you can go back and update all the stuff, and maybe now you're an Amazon affiliate, and 2 years ago you weren't. So take the bottom 10% of your videos and change them up a little bit, because the time it takes to change that bottom 10% of your videos is probably a lot shorter than it is to shoot, edit, and produce something brand new.
Yep, and you just hit on something that I want to take. I mean, we're 15 minutes ish out from calling it a night, but I want to talk a little bit, guys, about Amazon affiliate marketing. Here's the thing. A lot of channels say, I didn't start this channel to make money. I'm just here to pass on that information. And that's great. And I'm not going to bust on that in any way. But here's the thing, guys. If you're communicating something about gardening and you're using a Gidget or Gadget or Who's It or What's It, and it's really, really cool, you're not going to be hurting anybody by putting a link down below that somebody can go, I want that gadget. I really want it. And then, you're not hurting Amazon, and nobody's all of a sudden getting rich by you saying, this is the thing I like, and poof, they can buy it if they want to get it. It's not taking money from anybody. It's not doing that. And I think a lot of people have a weird view on that. They're like, oh my gosh, you're just commercial. You're just doing this channel to make money. And it's not that at all. Somebody is going to make that cut, whether it's Amazon keeping it or whether you're not wanting to get it. But I think it's kind of actually robbing the general public of that cool Gidget or gadget that they would really like to have. But since you didn't put it down there, they don't even know about it. And I kind of feel like, I'm sorry, I'm on a small soapbox, brother. And it's just because I think that a lot of people in the self-reliant world kind of look at the Amazon thing wrong, and they think, oh, you're a commercial, you're a sellout, you know. And yeah, he's taking a nap. So what are your feelings on that as I jump down off my soapbox?
Oh, sorry. All right. What happened? Where are we? Yeah.
I know. You got a little something right here.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. How's my eyebrows? Are we good? Okay.
You're looking good.
Let's talk about Amazon affiliates and talk about making money on YouTube. And I think we talked about it last week also, which was, you know, as a beginning channel, you're not going to make very much money. You know, we talked about 10,000 views is worth about $20 or $22 or something like that, and so on. And Amazon affiliates, you know, as you get more traction, you'll get more dollars and things like that. And a lot of people say, oh, I didn't get into YouTube to make money or anything like that. Well, maybe a different way to look at it is, what if you took that money that you got in and you used it towards making your channel better? Maybe
Amen.
You take the money and you go, hey, I just made $10 on Amazon affiliates. Well, TubeBuddy's $10 a month. I'm going to spend it on that. Or I'm going to save up all of my YouTube money for the next 6 months or whatever it is and buy myself a different camera or a better microphone to kind of self-invest in yourself. Why not use those things that are out there that you potentially could make money on and invest them into stuff to continue to kind of perpetuate itself? So yeah, you know what? I'm not really into doing YouTube to make money, but I get money from doing YouTube. It's just kind of one of those things that happens. So what I do is, like, when I hit a certain milestone, like my next purchase is going to be a camera. So I take the money that I get from YouTube and I put it in a little fund and I keep stacking it up there. And then when I earn enough money from that, I feel like I put in the time and the effort to go buy that thing. So I'll go buy that camera or go buy that microphone or go invest in that website that you've been wanting to put together or something like that, and then reinvest it back in yourself so that then you can continue to do the stuff that you love.
I agree. And it's one of those things where I kind of get frustrated with the people that will say, you know, when we first started out in this self-reliant thing, it was always only about sharing the information, and now it's all commercial. And I don't think it has to be viewed that way at all. And I know I'm kind of repeating a little bit of what I've said, but I think there's a different perspective in that, you know, it's all how you want to make it, guys. If you want to have your channel where it's not like that, that's great. But I'm saying that, look, you're kind of depriving the world of some cool stuff if you don't share it, if you don't even mention it. I mean, I'm not like saying beat people over the head with a commercial, because nobody likes that. I don't want to sit and watch a 20-minute commercial. But if you're like, hey, if you like this bottle of water, for example, there's a thing right down below. The end. Don't belabor it. Just get it and go on.
Well, the other thing too is, like, some of the guys that I work with in the self-reliance channels or the survival stuff, and just friends that I know on YouTube, everybody wants to know what gear are they doing, or what do you like, or what do you use? I use this knife, or I use this thing, or I use that, whatever it is, and so on. Well, why not just put the Amazon links out there? Because you took the effort and time to figure out what the best thing is to use for you personally, and then you show yourself using it over and over again in your videos. Why not get paid for that time that you spent doing that stuff? I mean, ultimately, yeah, you did it for fun, but use that money then to buy more gear so you can keep doing your hobby. You know, if I could sell stuff out of my garden to buy more stuff for my garden, I'm going to do that. Why can't YouTube be the same thing?
Well, and Bandana Grandma is over here, and she says, I got a new mop and a bucket and that I love and I use in one of my videos, and several people asked me where they could get them. It doesn't cost them any more. Why shouldn't I make a buck linking it? I agree. And here's the thing. Did we talk last week? My memory eludes me. Did we talk about how to set that up?
No, we didn't. We were going to go into it, and then we ran out of time. I think what we should do, and I know that you and I talked about this, what if we got some screenshots put together and do that for next week? Because it's hard to say, oh, go over to the third page and then click on the button in the corner that's yellow. And it just, let's figure that out. I think there's a better way that we can do it. Or even more than that is, maybe you and I talk about producing a video or something. You produce one, post it on your channel, and then it could be kind of a B-roll thing that we can reference people to for next week.
I love it. So next week, if you guys do not have an Amazon affiliate program for your channel, we're going to show you how to do it. And we're going to take some screenshots, and we might have video. I don't know if we'll need to have video, but we can do screenshots Actually, we'll have to figure out how to do that with Google Hangouts, won't we?
Yeah, we'll have to get all techie in the next week. The worst case scenario is we produce a video that people can reference later on too, or something like that. We'll figure it out.
And guys, look at it like this. Like Bandana Graham was going to say, or did say, somebody's making the money, you know, and you took the effort to make that video, and people want it. It's not like you're making people sit through an infomercial. It's something that they are there watching because they want to see it. So anyway, so for stuff for next week, guys, what do you want to hear? Is there any Q&A? I'm trying to watch this stuff, guys, but it's going fast. By the way, also, for those of you who have, hit the thumbs up, we greatly appreciate it. If you have not, well, we'd greatly appreciate that old thumbs up. And last week, Will did the thumbs up-a-thon, and please don't make him have to do that again this week.
I'll tell you, man, I can get it going. Here we go. We're going to start going. The problem is I can't see it this week. So one other thing we should probably tell everybody, and maybe they don't know this, but, last week,
the value of a thumbs up?
Well, the value of the thumbs up, but the other thing we were talking about is, your interaction both in the chat and thumbs up helps the videos. So ask for it. It's really simple. If you go to any sales training, the biggest thing that they'll tell you when you walk out of a sales training is ask for the sale. The simple one is at the end of your video, just remind folks, hey, by the way, if you like what we're doing, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the description down below. By asking for that, you'll get it more often than not. And quite honestly, people will do it. And that's the best thing for your channel, because then it also tells you what people like and they don't like.
Yeah, and I want to take a second just to talk briefly. Don't get put off by when he's saying customers and sales. He's not meaning, like you're going to go buy a car or something like that. He's talking about business practices that work, that you can apply to your channel, and you're not trying to sell somebody on something. You're just trying to get them to, hey, come back and watch some more content. So don't get put off by the language. He's using stuff that has been proven time and time and time again, but the language, I don't want you guys to flip out thinking, oh man, I'm not gonna push people into selling stuff. I don't want to. No, you're just trying to get them to come back and watch another video. You're not buying a car. So when Will's talking about this stuff, this is amazing stuff, guys. He's sharing stuff with you that people pay a lot of money to hear. And so for that, if you have not gone over to his channel, The Weekend Homestead, please do. Please subscribe as a thank you for his time and his knowledge, because this is stuff that we're sharing with you, and it's costing you nothing. Just click on it. It's a lot of people pay a lot of money for this, and when he's talking about this stuff, I'm going, oh man, I know this because I've been through all that sales stuff in the past, and I know how to do it. But I needed to pause right there, because I can kind of feel people going, he's trying to make me sell stuff. And that's not it at all.
Yeah, I don't mean to get all Tony Robbins on everybody and everything like that. That's not my intent. I do work in the corporate world, and I deal with this stuff all the time. And sometimes my vernacular kind of lines up to, saying those things. But ultimately, YouTube is a hobby for myself. I know it's a hobby for a lot of people. I know other people that are trying to make it a business or a way to supplement income in their family, or, try to make it into something bigger than that. And I mean, everybody's on the same journey. We're all using, it's amazing. The biggest YouTubers in the world use the same upload button that the smallest YouTubers in the world use. And everybody has an equal shot to make it into something that they want to become someday. And you can take it at whatever pace you want. So I'm not here to tell you that you need to sell this and you need to have Amazon and you have to have this or do whatever it is. Do whatever works for you. That's the most important part about it, is if you don't come across naturally and you try to be something that you're not, people are going to see it. And once they see it, they're going to go find something else, because the content's free and they can go get it wherever they want. So ultimately, you have to serve the people that are coming and watching your videos, and the best way to do it is to be yourself.
Yeah, you take content of a channel, say like Off Grid Nation. I got to tell you what, man, he's nothing but sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and unicorns. And if he's talking about, I don't know, say government overreach, it's just going to be so gentle and nice, right? I mean, am I right, guys? You guys know his channel. I see Bizarizza Jizza out there. You know his channel. Am I exaggerating here? Or I love Tommy's channel.
Tommy's a great guy. I love Tommy.
Balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes to catch me. I have some business meetings in the afternoon, and he knows when some of my calls are, and I'll get text messages from him at times, just kind of sending jokes or things like that, trying to crack me up as I'm trying to be serious at work. So
as we kind of round out the evening, guys, we've got a great plan for next week, and you guys have already crafted the show. But is there anything else, as we've got 4 minutes and change, that you either would like to hear more about? And I'm going to try to write them down. And if you don't get your topic talked about, I promise it's not malicious. It's just there's a lot to it. Questions for next week or content you'd like to hear, as Will why don't you sum back up just real quick the importance of Facebook, because I need to hear that again.
Sure. I mean, so at the top of the show, for the folks that entered in, kind of at the end here, one of the things we talked about is you need to take your message and what you're trying to do potentially to the places where people are. For the most part, think about, you have your own habits and you do your own thing, and everybody kind of does. Like, I always go check my news and weather at this website, or I always go to this website to shop for this product and things like that. People who are watching videos on YouTube or consuming content online kind of have different habits. So ultimately, you have to kind of go to where they are. And the commentary we had about Facebook was, think of YouTube as the way to make money, or to get your content out there, or for people to see your videos and things like that. Think of Facebook as a way to take smaller portions of your message to that platform. And the biggest thing about Facebook that's important is Facebook works really well with small content. If you remember back to what we were talking about before, where they have the cooking hands videos where they got some recipe, they throw it together, and then all of a sudden you have a cake and it took a minute to do it. Well, maybe you have a 10-minute video on YouTube. Make a 1-minute video that you put on Facebook, and now all of a sudden the people who don't normally come to YouTube to watch your videos have now been exposed to your message, your ideas, whatever it is, and because of that, now they come over to YouTube to check you out. So kind of a way to think about it, but you have to go to them and show them something in a way that's meaningful to them in the way that they're used to seeing it, and then if you do it correctly, they'll follow you back to where you came from, which is YouTube.
I agree. And speaking about checking you out, I like your watch, man. Show me that watch. Dude, that is banging. I would so wear that. I think I would prefer like a white wristband, but the red one's pretty sweet.
It's actually a product that I'm testing out for a company. It's called a Maze Fit. It's a smart watch, but the whole point of it is it's targeted towards the value. So, you know, like Apple watches are really expensive and everything like that. These guys their goal is to have an inexpensive watch in the market. So I'm doing some market research and stuff with them.
See, now, in all honesty, I promise you that was not a product pitch. He did not we don't have links below, but if we did and you liked it, then you could go and look at it. And there's no skin off anybody's nose. So as we kind of round out the evening, guys, please make sure you go over and check out the Weekend Homestead. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for them. And we're going to bring some more great content next week. So, I'm getting some good questions here, Red Tank Girl. We can explain tags. And if you don't mind, slap that like button before you head out. I see
where are we at?
We're at 68. We've got a lot of naysayers tonight because I think there's channels that are trying to do their show prep for tomorrow that are on. And well, you know, they got to make sure they disagree with what they're going to say tomorrow, but you guys know about that. So
we got a question on tags. We got 30 seconds left here, whatever it is. Tags, the shortest of it is, think of it as 1 word, 2 word, or short phrases that describe your video. And it's a way that the system, when it catalogs everything together, it uses those 1 word, 2 word things, puts them together, and that's how they find you. So the better the tags you have, the better descriptions you have, the more likely people who are looking for the stuff that you have will find you.
Absolutely. Yes. Amen. And for those of you guys who are saying thank you, or I'm sorry, not thank you, who are wishing me happy birthday. Well, technically, well, I did have a great birthday. So I guess it's now my after birthday, which is kind of weird and gross. But happy after birthday. What, you don't think it's funny? It's just not funny. She doesn't think it's funny. No. I think it's funny. But I was just saying thank you for my after birthday. Yeah.
How old are we this year?
Yes, we are. So why don't you take us out there, brother?
I'd have to say thank you again for watching. You know, we get a lot of comments, a lot of great stuff. You know, what Brad's put together here and what he and I talked about is a way that we could come to you guys and show you what we know. Are we experts at any of this stuff? No. But for the most part, if we all start sharing information with each other, you guys email and say, you know what, Will, you were talking about this and you were completely wrong. I go and look at it. You know what? I learned something out of this scenario. Maybe you listen and you figured out, hey, I really like using TubeBuddy, or now I look at Facebook in a different way. Well, you learned something. And that's what we're trying to do, is build a community where we share information between each other in a positive manner to make everybody better. That's the whole point of this whole thing. And I appreciate Brad putting this together. I mean, that's really something that's important, not just talking about, you know, chickens and homesteading and farms and stuff like that, but the whole piece. So thank you, Brad.
Well, dude, I am humbled, and you actually look at, honestly, I got goosebumps, to be honest, because it's not about me. It's about what everybody can bring to the table, and you're bringing your knowledge, and everybody's got something to share, like I said earlier. And I'm kind of at a loss for words. I'm humbled and grateful, and we're going to keep doing it. So next Thursday, we're going to bring the A game, and you guys come on. And with that said, make sure that you are sub to the Weekend Homestead. And, you know, I mean, you can go over to Off Grid Nation too. He's all right.
Tommy's a great guy. Everybody should go give Tommy a thumbs up on one of his videos.
He's all right. He's a good guy. So anyway, that said, I'm going to say goodnight and let you finish her up, brother.
All right. Thank you guys for watching us, and, you know, make it a great weekend. Make it a great week. Thanks.
Amen. See you.